little late. I had an important phone call I had to attend to. So the plane's just popping over now, so I'll just wait for a few people to jump on. If anybody jumps on today, I'm not sure. I'll share this onto my Facebook, personal Facebook, and in my group, and then I shall get started. So copy the link, go onto my personal page, hope to see you. So yes, I want to talk about channeling today. It seems to have gone a bit quiet in the channeling circle, my channeling circle. So I thought we could have a discussion. Oh, that didn't work. Have a discussion about that today. No one's here today. How unusual. Yes, okay, it hasn't worked. What's going on there? Let me see. So I'll wait a few more moments, and then if no one pops on, I will talk anyway. It's very unusual for no one to be here. That's okay. It's happened before. Let's see. Hello, whoever's joined. Hello, Morgan. I'm glad you're here. I thought it was just going to be me, which would have been interesting, talking to myself. There it is. Okay, so hello, Aaron. Oh, good to see you. Talking about the guides today. So let's do a share. Oh, a little bit stressed. I just had a bit of a stressful phone call, which is why I'm late. So that's all sorted, and now I'm going to settle into this conversation and look up at the screen in a minute. Just share this into on my business page, and then yes, have a conversation about the guides. I think people are scared to talk about this, or they're scared to appear potentially off the planet. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to have this conversation to sort of normalize it for people, the people who love to channel. Yes. Right, let me just put this in. You know me, multitasking, we don't work so well. Channeling and 3 blocks. Okay, and then I'll post this into my closed group, and then I can get started. Yes, beautiful weather here in Perth whilst I'm messing around. Hello, Carlita, good to see you. And I'll just pop this in my group now. Bear with me. I do a bit of sharing because I don't really like Restream, and Restream for some reason it doesn't work on some of my pages. So I'll get a new one. I'll finish it off. I'll use it for the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to try something else. Try another platform. Don't really like it, or maybe I'm not used. I don't know how to use it properly. I need some help with it. Anyway, okay, so I'm here. I'm here. So first of all, a little bit of housekeeping, which I'm unorganised with that as well. Hold on, let me do that bit, and then I can get started. Forgot about the link. Oh God, here we go. Here's the link for this. Shit. Oh, you know, I reckon there could be like a, I think I don't know what I'm going to say. Anyway, okay, I'm here, made it. So there's the link. All right, so first of all, a little bit of housekeeping. So for those of you who are in Perth, I am running a 1-day channeling immersion on the 2nd of May at the beautiful Flourish Centre. So this is an in-house, in-person event. It's really great value. It's only $195 for the entire day. And you will be learning you will learn how to channel. You'll be learning how to read, to channel with gypsy cards. These are just a really good tool. They make it easy to learn how to trust your intuition and to allow the guides to guide you to content in the cards where you don't have to try and hear things if you're scared of hearing, which I'm going to talk about today anyway. They're really amazing cards, actually. So you'll receive a deck of those for free for signing up to accompany your journey, along with I'm going to give everybody some Reiki 1 attunements. So there'll be 3 attunements, one in the morning, one midday, and one at the end of the day before we leave, to really clear out the channel. So is it a Reiki workshop? Not really. However, Reiki is incredibly powerful, or the attunements themselves are very powerful to help you open your heart and open to channel, which is why I want to include that, to ensure that you get the most and get the best out of the day. And I want you to feel into the incredible energy of Source, because after all, the guides are there to help us to connect with this higher power. Some of us call it God, some of us call it Goddess, some of us call it Source, or the all that is, the great mystery that we don't know what to name, and the guides have easy access to that and help us to open to access that as well. So yes, it is a cheap, well, let's not call it cheap, Shannon. It's not cheap. It's really beautiful. It's going to be an amazing day, but it's inexpensive, that's for sure. It's not at a huge cost, at a huge price. And for those of you who want to experience Reiki energy, you'll experience that as well. It's like a little taster, I suppose. If you want to get more involved in Reiki, I can share some people with you. I can refer you. But anyway, nonetheless, so let's chat. Let's chat. So if you want to, Carolyn, I wish you could attend, because do you know what, Carolyn? Carolyn actually is one of my Reiki masters who I initiated about 25 years ago. Amazingly, or maybe it was 30, Carolyn. It was a while ago. I was probably 30. No, let's not get carried away. 25 years ago. So, yes, I would have given you another Reiki Master attunement for sure. For sure. We should do it anyway. I'll attune you again anyway. Let's just do that, shall we? Have a catch up and do that anyway. So, yes, it would be brilliant to get the attunement. Yep, another time. Okay, let me get started. So, I wanted to talk about, 25. I was getting a bit carried away there. I was aging myself, I think. Anyway, just make sure that's plugged in because it's gone a bit dark on there. So, let me get started. I'm talking too much. So, I want to talk about who the guides are first, because this is a conversation that comes up all the time. And I truly believe that the guides, you and I, and the guides are light. They are light frequency. We have descended from an ascended master, so to speak. So we are not separate from this light. We are not separate from the guides. They are frequencies of light. They are light, essentially. When we drop all the perceptions and the forms and all the projections and the archetypes, the projections that we hang on them to try and categorize them to make sense in our human world of what they are, if you strip that all away, they are light. They are light beings. So when my clients come in and have sessions with me and say, but I can only see light, I say, amazing. That's amazing. That's them in their most purest form. So when people first open to channel, I remember thinking that my guide was supposed to come in a particular form and was, what does he look like? Who is he going to be? Or who is she going to be? Is she going to have a name? All of that sort of stuff is really quite irrelevant in the realm of spirit, or in the realm of this frequency of light. However, for our human experience, we feel like it's really important to make sense of our reality, and we live in this 3D world. We have this physical body that gives us this sense of separation, even though we're all one. It gives us this sense of separation, and for us to be able to navigate in our everyday reality, we categorize, we put things in categories. And in psychology, we call that cognitive schemas. So we have these cognitive schemas to help us make sense. Tree, flower, male, female. And, from a Jungian perspective, we call them archetypes. We have these archetypes. And we project them outside of our reality to help us make sense of the world that we live in. So the guides are very intelligent. The light is very intelligent, and it will transfigurate into a form to meet our path of least resistance, to help us make sense, to navigate through this reality, because us humans feel like we have to see it in a particular form. And so they will choose forms. They will choose forms that will potentially give us a corrected experience or a corrective experience. So it's neither here nor there to me whether you have a male guide, a female guide, whether it's an archangel, whether it's a Native American Indian, whether it's an ancestor of this ancestor. It's neither here nor there to me. It doesn't really matter. But we feel like we have to have this form. So the guides will choose particular forms that enable us to work through or to heal us from conditions of the past that we've been born into that may have impacted on who we are today, and that may be repressing, or we may be holding back, or we may have these unhealed parts of ourselves. So the guides will choose forms that will enable us to have these healing experiences. So for example, if you've chosen the form, and it's your choice, you've chosen a form of your guide and archetype to be a woman or an old woman or an ancestor or something like that, it's because you need to heal. That feminine part of yourself needs your loving attention, it needs your healing, and that's fine. The light is incredibly intelligent. It is choosing forms to direct your healing, to help you, to direct you to the parts of yourself that need your loving attention. So that doesn't mean it's not real because you're creating these, or the light is transfigurating into these forms. Yes, it is real. It's still real. It's still real. And the guides, as I said, they're really intelligent. They choose forms that will enable us to heal. And sometimes I think of those forms like, I don't know, books of knowledge. Like there's medicine in that form. There's knowledge. They've got their symbols, their metaphors for learning and for healing. So it's not just that a form isn't just chosen willy-nilly for you. Of course not. It's intelligently chosen for you. You and Source together choose this form to interact with, this interface between you and Source. The guides enable you to open up more, to trust more, to heal these unloved parts of yourself, and also help you to become more of who you are. In Jungian terms, we would call that individuation. In spiritual communities, we might say fully expressed, or to be your true self or your authentic self, or in narrative perspective, we would say, to free you up, to enable you to excavate your valued self, however you want to call it. So the guides, they've forgotten that I'm live, they're all having a chit chat in the kitchen. The guides will, I've just lost myself because I heard them talking in the kitchen. Shit. Oh yes, so the guides are here to teach us how to become more of who we are. They're not meant to be at the forefront of your experience. They're just not. And this is, I think, people get caught up in trying to have them, make all the decisions for you, or fulfill your purpose for you. They're not here to do that. Sometimes I say to my clients that the guides are, or I'll share with my clients that the guides are mentoring you, that you are teaching them just as much as they're teaching you, that you are meant to be at the forefront of this experience. Hello, Alicia. That you're meant to be at the forefront of this experience, not the guides. Back in the early days when I first started to channel, I thought it was all about them. It's not all about them. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about me. I know that sounds egotistical, but it's all about bringing, you being the hero of your journey, fulfilling your purpose, fulfilling, your heart's desires in this lifetime. And if you're brave enough to do that, the guides are so willing to support you through that journey. Gosh, there's so much more I want to talk about. I've got a short amount of time. I'm thinking, where shall I go next from here? Because that's a good 2-hour conversation that we could have training. But anyway, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was some of the blocks that come up when people first open to channel or learn to channel. And oh, thanks, Linda. I'm looking forward to seeing you in May. Actually, I'll bring your blanket. I'll bring your blanket and your pillow. I've still got it folded in my wardrobe. It's ready for you. You won't need to bring a blanket and pillow. Maybe just bring one just in case I forget it. Anyway, nonetheless, so so some of the blocks that come up, the 3 blocks that come up often for people is they'll say to me, I can't work out if it's me or if it's them. When they're channeling, is it my soul or is it the guides? And this is how it's been explained to me, and this is what I've come to understand about it after working with the guides, or working with channeling, or doing channeling every day for at least 30 years, right? So I've come to understand that the guides will send light frequencies through you, and you are translating these light frequencies. You translate them through your cognition, you translate them through your senses, you translate them through your imagination, you translate them through, how you feel, your gut feelings. You are translating this frequency. It's moving through you, and you are the translator. And because of that, you never really fully get out of the way. There's always a part of you that's there and present in the transmission. So that means, one, you've got to take responsibility for what you're sharing, you know, so you want to be choosing language, choosing the best way to interpret the transmission. And two, there's always a part of you, so it will sound like you. It's going to sound like you. The guides don't really mind whether you think it's them or not. Their investment is you living your best life. Really, they want you to live your best life and for you to fulfill your heart's desires in however way that's going to look. These soulful, valuable qualities, this soulful life, they are interested in you developing your self-worth, valuing this life that we lead, you know, how much you can give and receive love. They're most interested in that. They're not really interested. I've just got caught up with that. Forgot what I was saying. I'm feeling the love. What was I saying? Oh, shit. Yes, so is it me or is it them? So they're not really that interested in whether or not it's them or you. They want you to know that if your heart is the lens from which you are perceiving, which you are translating the content, that's all that matters. Because love doesn't really get it wrong. The translation will always, the right intention will always be there if you are channeling through this heart space, through your heart, through the lens of your heart, through the compassion, through the empathy, through goodwill, through these soulful values. And look, we all have shadow selves. We're not going to deny that. We're not denying that, which leads me to this. So one of the blocks that people come up with is the fact that they don't know whether it's them or the guides. Let me just say this, there's always going to be a part of you, so it will sound like you. The more you practice channeling, the more you'll feel into the transition, or maybe a transition, but the transmission, and the more you'll start to get a sense of which guide is interacting with you, but you are always translating, so there's always going to be a part of you in it. So let go of worrying about whether it's you or them. Feel, trust into your senses and feel. Okay, so the second one that I wanted to talk about was emotional. Like when people are highly emotional, it's best not to verbally channel or try and give messages or try and get messages or try and share messages with yourself or with others. When you are highly emotional, it can distort what is coming through. Often our emotions that we are releasing at that time when we are feeling very emotional or very attached or dark, we're in sort of this dark space. We all have darkness within us. We're not alone. You're not alone with that. Every single one of us have it. In fact, when I hear people saying that they've healed their shadow, I laugh. It's ridiculous. No, it's constantly with us. It's following us around everywhere. So we get triggered, is my point. We get triggered. We're all somewhat unconscious, wandering around unconscious, in and out of consciousness. So we do get triggered. So when we're in these emotional states, it can distort the frequency. We can start to channel through our fears or through our attachments or through whatever it is that we're currently in distortion with. And so that's not the best time to be relaying messages to people. My guides will, when I'm in that kind of space, in that sort of darker space, or I'm processing something heavy and I'm scared or whatever feelings are coming up for me, basically what the guides do is they hold space for you to process that. And if you really connect with your guides, which I'm of the great fortune of having done this work for so long, that it's literally, it's so tangible for me. I know that they're real. They're so tangible that when I'm in that space, they are literally counseling me. They're not giving me insights about the future. They're not trying to give me some comfort, some future comfort. They're just allowing me to just process and blah, 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 let it all out of my body, and lovingly hold me in that space at that time where I can be all of my darkness, all of my lightness all at once. It can all happen in one, all happening all at the same time, being fully accepted and held whilst I express all of that. And then usually what happens is if we start to try and get information when we're in this really, for use of a better word, shitty space, it comes through as distortion, and then it comes through as inaccurate, and then because it's inaccurate and we don't get the result that we think that we should have got based on the information that we've got, then we don't trust them. So my guidance to you today is, when you are highly emotional, or if you are really triggered and you're not feeling in a great space, that's not the time to be channeling verbally, giving messages out, or whatever it is that you do with your channeling at that time. Let yourself be held, let yourself process. The guides will transmit beautiful light frequencies through you and hold you as you process these big emotions, whatever is coming up, and give yourself time to process that before you start trying to get insights from them, before you start trying to get, most people, when they contact the guides, they want to get future readings. They do. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, how do you keep the connection with your guides when you channel? Well, you'll have to come along to my workshop. So, usually I will answer that question very quickly. Sometimes I explain it like Nigel. I explain it like it's an ongoing conversation. It's not something that it's like you pick up where you left off. There is no real time in the realm of the light beings, or this multi-dimensional reality in the realm of spirit, if you want to call it spirit, light, the light beings. There's no real time. So it's an ongoing conversation that you kind of move into and you move out of. You move into, you're conscious of, and you become unconscious. And even in your unconsciousness, they're still communicating with you. They're still sending messages. Your intuition, your soul is speaking to you 24/7, sending messages, signals through your entire being. We don't shut down. I've heard people say that before. With their chakras, you've got to shut your chakras down. Yes, we have to protect our energy and that sort of thing, but part of the protection is being intuitively awake, because it senses danger. It alerts us to danger and things that are unsafe and things that are good for us, things that feel good. It helps us to navigate in our everyday realities. So your intuition is speaking to you 24/7 all the time. All the time. Carolyn Meese says the same thing, and I like her. She's a bit Judge Judy, but I agree with her. It's ridiculous to think that you've got to shut it down. No thanks. It's keeping me safe. No thanks. So, okay, you can't really anyway. Try and ignore it. Yes, so true. Aaron, thanks. It's good to see you, Aaron. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm happy about that. That's fabulous. I hope you're going to tap into your channeling abilities again, maybe start exploring that again. Maybe this is a little bit of inspiration for you to get started again. So, yes, so the third thing I wanted to say is, which I forgot, fortune, telling fortunes. Okay, so many people, when they open to channel, one of the attractions is fortune telling, or maybe fortune tellings, maybe I'm being a bit crass there, or I don't know. So most people, when they were open to channel, they want to know the future. They want to have some certainty. They want to have some control over the future. And they want to find some answers about, what's going to happen in events that will give them a sense of security. And often what the answers that people are seeking are what they actually want versus what they don't want. So the guides, what I've come to learn is that the guides are not, well, it's like turning readings inside out. So it's a bit like the guides think of channeling a bit like, or the transmission a bit like this, that they're helping you to create your reality, that life is moving through you and you are in creation, on the edge of discovery, expanding the universe through you. They're not that interested. It's not really about telling your fortune or telling you what's going to happen. It's about you taking control of your destiny and manifesting a life that you would really love to lead, that your heart's desire, in alignment with your true potential of what you being in your genius, you doing what you love, you creating the kind of reality that you're happy to live in. And so the guides are there to support us, to mentor us through that. So they're pretty good at predicting they're pretty good at predicting sort of near future events. And this is how it's explained to me. It's because it's in our field already. There's a decision's been made on somewhere along the line. We've made the decision that this is how it's going to turn out, you know, so they can see that in our field. And, you know, unconsciously, in our unconscious minds, we make decisions and we have beliefs that are producing our reality, and they can see that in our field. They can see what's coming into our field and what we're projecting into our reality, and they can sort of guide us around the next step, the most highest path, the best way forward. And of course we have free will, and they're so aware of that, right? They're like 100% aware of the fact that we have this free will. And so, you know, they can't control, they can't micromanage us. We're not puppets. We're not, you know, walking robots where they can control every decision that we make. You know, we have free will, and that's part of the journey of being here, that we get to exercise our power and exercise our sovereign nature and our agency in this 3D reality. This is learning about our power and our power to manifest light to form, and you know, it's how we learn our lessons. So they're aware of that. They can't take away our lessons from us, but they can help us move through our lessons with more ease if we make shitty decisions. You know, it's just how it is. So when I've spoken to the guides about, you know, big future events, well, yes, there is a great mystery. There are some things that are preordained that aren't to do with me, that might be to do with somebody else, which inadvertently affects me, and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And they prefer to work in the world of essence. So they're working with what they'll invite me to do is to start feeling into the soulful values of what it is that I want to create in my reality. So let's say I've got this limited view. The cognitive mind has a limited view. It can't see what the spaciousness of the imagination, or the realm of soul and spirit, or the collective unconscious. The cognitive mind has walls, and so I might be projecting, I want to live in I want to have my own home, and so I'm projecting that into the future, and I'm imagining that. But my cognitive mind has some limitations. It doesn't think as big. It's not as spacious as the imagination. And the guides, we access the guides and that manifesting power through our imaginative realm. So because we are so ruled by this rational mind, the way the guides have worked with me, and it works really well, is to work in the world of essence. So what is the quality that this home is going to give me? That's what I would be drawing on. That's the energy I would be feeling into. What is the quality of this home that I want to manifest? Is it freedom? Is it going to give me a sense of security? Is it going to give me feelings of love and connection, and to feel like to feel into those soulful qualities and to project them out into my future, and to work in the world of essence, to manifest, to create. So on the one hand, yes, there are some things, there's a great mystery, life throws us curveballs, and strange things happen and we can't control every detail. But the guide's real true purpose is really there to help us manifest the life that we were born to lead, and our best life, really, to be to activate our full potential as best as we can in our lifetime. And some of us are more conscious of that, and some of us I'm laughing because I can be unconscious as well. I'm not fully consciously aware of everything. We all have our unconscious behaviours, but to become more and more conscious, to sort of, not be so controlled by these unconscious drives so much, to be able to witness them and to learn about them and to learn to manifest. So yes, let me have a look. Have you got any questions before I go? Because I've got a couple of minutes, because then I'm running a class. Running my tarot class. So whilst I have a look for some questions on here, if there are any questions, yes, I resonate with this. I'm of the belief that we are semi-gods. We are from the gods of creation in some form. Yes, for sure. I think we have to have some kind of respect for this higher power, for sure. There is something greater than the self, and you don't have to believe that. I feel that, though. I feel this connection to this divine will, this divine source. And sometimes it is about letting ourselves surrender to, you know, that's when people say get out of the way, that's the context I put that in, is to surrender, to submit to this divine will, this divine energy that calls something more from me, that calls this greater path from me, which might seem small or minuscule or nothing to somebody else, but it's meaningful to me, and it's you know, it's meaningful to the people that I work with, and to my daughter, and to the people the lives that I touch, and the lives that touch mine. You know, it's meaningful to us, and that's what matters. So yes, so I'll put a link in again. So would love for you to come along on Sunday, May the 2nd. It'll be a beautiful day, and how amazing to receive Reiki attunements as well. Such a blessing. I'm you know, I can't wait. I can't wait to share the journey with you. I've only got 5 spots left, so if you'd like to come along, there's 5 seats available. And yes, you'll receive a pack of these Gypsy cards, Reiki attunements. I'm also giving you one of my new hypnos that I don't just give away. It's not on a free download or anything like that, but it's a recorded one that you can use over and over again to connect with your guides. It's a fabulous one. People love it, and I get, you know, people have really amazing experiences with it. It's not a meditation, it's a hypnosis. So I'll give you a recording of that you get to keep. You can keep that forever, so you can keep practicing when you're at home to connect with your guide, because practice makes perfect, all of that sort of stuff. So yes, I'd love for you to attend. I have to go because I've got to run a class. I hope you enjoyed today's little rundown. I felt like I've just done a whole channeling course in one live. Of course not, but you know, yeah. Anyway, okay, sending you so much love. Take care, everyone.